Hi, we're in Glacier National Park, and I'm going to do this mountain scene. It's a little hazy here, unfortunately, so I'm not going to get the real clear blues that I want. No matter how much I try to make up the colors, I always end up painting them more subdued. But let's see what we can do. Colors on my palette: titanium white, cadmium yellow light. It's really probably cadmium lemon, but it's a very light cadmium yellow light. Cadmium orange, yellow ochre, transparent red oxide, Venetian red, alizarin crimson, ultramarine blue, cobalt blue, cerulean, viridian, sap green, and over here I have Gamlen's Portland gray warm. I do like to use that color when I'm out west here because it does a really nice job of capturing atmospheric perspective. So just doing a light wash. Kind of trying to work out my composition overall. Keeping it very thin. Took a lot of photos of this before I got my plein air gear. So I kind of have an idea what I want to do. Yesterday here in Montana, it was close to 100 degrees in some areas. It was 100 degrees. And it's cooled off quite a bit. I woke up this morning at the rental house I'm staying at, and it was chilly. At the time of this recording, I'm here for the C.M. Russell auction. I had a painting in there, and at the auction 2 days ago, and I was pretty happy. It was my first time in their auction. It's been in their miniature auction before, but this is the first time in their kind of main auction, and my painting auctioned off for $7,000, which was really nice. Especially since I had to put a radiator in my car. On the way here, my car started overheating, in the middle of nowhere, and that was $600. So just hoping now my car gets me back home. So anyway, enough about that. Blocking in just some a basic wash of color. Now I'm not going to know how light or dark these mountains really should be, because they're the more ambiguous tone. So I really need to get my foreground darks in before I do a final keying in of those values and colors. But because they are in the background, I like to start out with a bit of a thin wash, keeping it very thin. There is white paint in this wash, and white paint can be very challenging when you're trying to put in darks. It can really chalk them up. By the way, if you're new to my channel, do me a favor and subscribe. I will be showing the first 20 minutes or so, give or take, to the general YouTube public, and then I'll show the rest to my Patreon subscribers only. So this tree is pretty big in the foreground. I'm not going to worry about showing it go down to the ground because you can't see the ground. Though I could borrow from some of the landscape a little further over. I may do that. So let's get our darkest darks in. Or at least get them started. Could do some viridian and burnt sienna. Touch of alizarin. So right now I'm not going to try to draw the tree exactly. Let's try some sap green, ultramarine blue, and a little bit of a transparent red oxide. Sometimes I call that burnt sienna. I use both and they're pretty interchangeable. I'm not going to try to get this tree exactly how it is right now. I'm not going to try to get it exactly how it is, period. Just want to get in the basic value masses. This tree is really close to me, and I'm probably going to back off a little bit on it, make it look a little further away. You know, if I measured the size of this tree compared to the mountains, I mean, this thing would look massive just because of how close I am to it. So what is it that I like about this scene that I want to capture? That's the main question I should be asking myself right now. It's kind of a neat branch. I'll just give a slight indication of that, and then the mast that extends out from it. I'm not too far from the road, which is good. I'm in grizzly bear country. Glacier is known for being infested with grizzly bears, and alas, I forgot my bear spray. I either forgot it back home, which is about 2,000 miles away, or I forgot it at the rental house. I'm thinking it's a rental house, but who knows? Okay, I think this is the part where I'm going to borrow a little bit from some of the landscape that's just slightly off to the left. Now way down there, I can see it's a little further to the right, but I might try to keep it in some of the shoreline there. Kind of recedes off. Let's see if I like that or not. Let's put in, there's a tree down there. That might be a nice counterbalance, and it might just be a nuisance. I like it. We'll put it in for now. If I do this later in the studio, especially if I turn it into a Native American painting, I might just eliminate that and just have the drop off. I love those drop offs. There's some drop offs just around the bend here, and I was hiking around there, trying not to fall off the edge. All right, let's go a little darker. It's so peaceful here. It's wonderful. putting in somewhat thin darks, and I'll put the lights on top of it. But remember Carlson's angles and consequent values. He was an Eastern painter, but most of what he taught still applies even out west here. And your trees, your uprights, are going to be dark. And so you can block them in mostly dark, and then you can key everything else off of this. Holding my paper towels behind me because they cause, as you can see when I hold them up like that, they cause quite a glare on the painting. You should make black paper towels or dark gray for plein air painters. Okay, I don't want to get too much detail in because now we kind of have a value map. I want to block in the sky. That's going to be our lightest light in the whole painting. And then everything will be keyed in somewhat. I'll do more refinement on the mountains there, keying those in as well. Whoops. That sky is very muted. And as the horse in Ren and Stimpy used to say, I don't like it. I'm going to see if I can push the color a little bit to be a little bit more intense. Sometimes you can trick your eye with that, and I'm going a little bit off of memory too. Sun's over on the left. We're going to get a little bluer. I know my canvas is really wobbly, and I apologize for that. I'm not sure it's the clip on the tripod. I'm not sure how to fix it. Should maybe get a new tripod. Okay, get a little bit lighter and a little more yellow as I move over to the left toward the sun. I had the privilege of going through the C.M. Russell Museum. I did this last year too, but going through it and looking at the paintings of Charles M. Russell. And one thing I really love about his work is his skies, his evening skies, and he really was able to capture them in a very beautiful way. The colors, you know, I don't think he really was able to work from photographs much at all. They didn't have, I don't think they had color photography back then. But you could tell that he just observed the skies a lot. And he was able to just nail those colors. keep the sky color away from the trees. That tree there, that'll really muck it up if you do that. Blocking the water a bit more. So I'm just really trying to evaluate the big shapes. I think I need to go a bit lighter with the sky. And the water, it's a little bit darker. I'm going to add in some of this Portland Gray Warm to neutralize it a bit. The main thing is I need to have that water be darker than the sky. Not a whole lot, but it does need to be darker. Okay, I think I'm going to stop there for the general YouTube public. If you want to watch me finish this painting, go to Patreon, click on the link below, and sign up. $5 a month. Do usually about 2 videos a month. Got lots of them up there, over a year's worth now. And you can watch me finish this and see a lot of the others too. And it helps me continue to do these videos and lug all this equipment out here. So thank you very much though for watching. Give me a thumbs up. And if you have any questions, comments, leave them below, and we'll see you again.